Parker, what is up, man? It's Fortitude and 15 Thursday. Time to hop into a new topic. It's beautiful in New York, I heard. Yeah?
Yeah, it is beautiful. I think it's going to be 75 degrees tomorrow, which is crazy exciting. And did you see, Sam, that in Congress, they're maybe passing a bill to get rid of
I heard.
the jumping around of time? The daylight savings is always going to be a thing now? I don't know.
It sounds incredible. It sounds like some of the best news I've ever heard because daylight savings makes no sense. I don't understand it. It was made for farming, and we don't really farm anymore. So I would like to have normalcy in my life and not have to deal with daylight savings.
So we're going to have more light in the afternoon in the winter. Is that what it is?
Sorry. I was trying to tell Matt to stop making so much fucking noise for 10 minutes. Close the fridge. No, it's not.
Matt, you're
Go
just
shower.
making my editing job that much harder.
You're making Parker's editing job harder. Just 10 minutes. Thank you.
Well, it's 15, Fortitude in 15.
It's true. It's 15. I think daylight savings time is stupid. I'm very excited. I hope that this can be a bipartisan issue that we can get behind and not have to deal with because I don't want to wake up and have it be pitch black. It makes me depressed, and I don't like it.
So, but I think that's what it is then.
No, I think it makes
in
it
the
worse.
winter it's going to be darker or lighter earlier?
In the winter, it's going to be lighter earlier.
Interesting.
I think.
I don't know. I actually this always confuses me. Like
The winters are going to suck regardless, right? Like you get less sunlight, but I think by us
they're getting
moving
an
our clocks,
hour more of sunlight.
but it's not really an
afternoon.
hour. Yeah. Okay.
In the afternoon. So it's not pitch black when
dumb?
it's 4:30. It's pitch black when it's 5:30 then. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Either way,
Whatever.
I think I'm behind it. I think we're good.
And it's
I'm
getting
excited.
brought up to, in Congress. They might be, hopefully we can hope, fingers crossed, they're doing this for the good of the people, right? I mean, so I guess it's a benefit either way.
Sounds good to me. I'm fine with it. All right, so daylight savings, we'll see if they get rid of it. That is going to be weird, right? When we have kids and we talk about daylight savings and they never lived it. And they're like, what a stupid idea that you changed time. And we'll
Well,
be like, it is a stupid idea.
There are two things that I read that are negative ramifications if they do get rid of it or whatever. Is
Okay,
that
go ahead.
in Europe, they actually switch their times too. So now all the clocks are going to be messed up with the
God.
markets and that type of thing with Europe. But then also from a religious standpoint, people actually may not have enough time when the sunlight comes up before work to get their prayer in. So it was very interesting.
Yeah, I guess there are broader ramifications that I never really thought about besides the farming piece. I wonder, though, this would be an interesting scientific study in 10 years. If they do get rid of it, people's like depression levels, if they go down now and, people are less depressed in the winter because they're getting a little bit more
I think that's what
sunlight.
they were saying that they're trying to target.
Yeah, I mean, that could be really interesting. I love it. This is a cool topic. I'm glad we discussed it because it's been on my mind. Myself, Matt McPartland, and Benny Kotler had a full discussion on this, trying to figure out what the heck we wanted to do, what we were for or against. But I would say anytime that both sides of the aisle can agree on any topic at this point, I'm okay with it. Let's try to get a little bit more cooperation in Congress. So I'm cool with that. But Parker, I had a question for you, man. I was reading the book that you told me to read, which is Steve Jobs. It's not an autobiography; it's a biography. Found
What's
it really
the difference,
fascinating.
Sam, for our
Autobiography.
listeners?
Thank you. Yeah, good question. Autobiography is written by the person themselves, about themselves, and a biography is written by a different third party, an author. So yes, reading Steve Jobs, and he was talking about how when he started to make a lot of money at Apple, when they went public, he didn't really know what to do with all this money because early on in Steve Jobs' life, he was a hippie. He didn't wear shoes. He went on like an
think he was always a
all-vegetable
hippie.
diet. Yeah, he still probably was. He lived on communes and
He, like,
with no
smelled.
niceties. He smelled. He didn't
Like
shower.
you walk into an office and smell.
Yeah. he was
barefoot,
weird, right? And he lived on nothing. He had no money, and he was cool with that. He didn't grow up wealthy either, so he was kind of used to this no money thing. Then he made a lot of money, and I think that adjustment is very hard for people. And so I was reading that in the book. I thought that was interesting. But then, I don't know if people know Dan Bilzerian. He's some famous poker crazy playboy. Well, Parker doesn't like him, I guess.
He had like his Instagram minute of fame, or like a year where I was like, oh, this guy's the man, living up, you know, living the rich life, doing all these crazy things. He's a douchebag. But I'm curious.
He definitely. I'm not for or against him. He does seem like a bit of an asshole. But anyways, he had an interesting concept that I wanted to get your thoughts on. So he's very rich, and he lives an absurd life with 100 different people partying on his yacht, going to different places every week. And he said he wanted for 3 months to kind of like shock his system and refresh his mind and live on, as he said it, a Walmart salary for 3 months. Live like most normal Americans do, and just kind of like refresh so that he's more grateful of the money and the experiences that he has when he gets back to it after those 3 months. And I thought that was a very interesting concept and something that we've kind of, I don't know, encouraged throughout Elevation Nation, Parker, which is getting outside your comfort zone, right? Like for this guy, being rich and being spoiled is his comfort zone, and he has enough of self-awareness to be like, I'm not really appreciating this anymore. I'm not really grateful of this anymore. Maybe I gotta take a step back and shock my system so that I can be appreciative and grateful of the life I have. And it's like, you can do that on both sides of the coin, right? So he's wealthy, so for him, becoming normal and living like a normal person shocks his system. But we are always preaching.
But he's never going to live like a normal person. Even if he does this, like he creates this inorganic whatever world of him going and working at Walmart every day. Like he will always have that cushion that he has money and can just come back and he's secure. Like, oh, he's got to show up to Walmart 8 hours a day and put boxes on shelves. Like, I just feel like for someone like him, and I've read and I've actually listened to him speak on a YouTube video, he was talking about how he struggles to be happy because he has everything and he can get whatever he wants because he has so much money. And for him, it's like, what is that next thing that's going to make him excited and give him pleasure? And it's honestly, it's pretty sad because it's like he's at a point where he doesn't get excited by, you know, a $300 steak dinner. He doesn't get excited by a beautiful, maybe like golf course that he could play on. He doesn't get excited by, you know, just hanging with his friends and his boys because, you know, whatever. He's got to go into a jet, a fighter jet, and blow some stuff up to get excited. Like, that's just so ridiculous. And then what happens when that becomes, you know, normal and not exciting anymore? Where do you continue to go? I think it's kind of, it's interesting that he's taking a step back and he wants to go to Walmart. I don't know. I think it's weird.
I think it actually makes perfect sense. I think how you explained it makes it so rational, right? When you have all the money, resources, and connections in the world, right? Doing something that for normal people is cool, right? Like going on a yacht loses that splendor.
But is it like
right?
He's an asshole like doing that? Like, oh, I'm just going to go work for 3 months in a Walmart, you know? Because I want to be able to normal.
I'm not debating his character, whether he's an asshole or not. I'm saying that he can't do anything more exciting or interesting that's bringing him happiness, which is sad, right? Like, that's sad. But
we don't
I admire,
necessarily know, but he's saying that, right?
Well, if he's saying it, then I guess we know. But
Sure.
I admire his thinking of, I can't do anything more crazy or elaborate or expensive. I need to go backwards to shock my system. And to your earlier point that I disagree with, where you said, well, he's got that cushion to fall back on. Totally. I get that. But I would say that for all we preach at Elevation Nation, and for you, for example, running your marathon, right? Like, you knew that eventually the marathon training and the marathon ends, right? You have a goal in mind of, I want to run this marathon. At some point, you stop running. You don't run for the rest of your life nonstop. There is an end goal, right? And so with this as well, however you need to figure out how to shock your system, it's a temporary shock. We're not saying that you're immersed outside your comfort zone. You do things to shock yourself outside your comfort zone, whether that's running a marathon, trying public speaking, eating a new food, traveling to a new place. They all are temporary shocks outside your comfort zone, right? But it's that ability that helps, that experience of going outside your comfort zone that helps you grow, right? They're all temporary. I don't think anything we've talked about is permanent.
You're saying. You make a great point. And honestly, I don't think he's doing it to like create more fame for himself. Now that I really think about it, like he has all of that. Like, I don't think he would be necessarily doing, I want to get more TikTok followers, or I want to do something cool and do like, work in a Walmart for 3 months. I think from what you're saying, and I haven't listened to him say this or speak, but it seems like what he's trying to do is do this all for himself. And like you say, maybe shock his system, maybe bring back some sense of normalcy, maybe a sense of connection to the rest of the world that he's been maybe missing because he's just been putting up all the, metaphoric walls, I guess. But interesting. So where can we find this to listen?
I have no idea. You're gonna have to Google it. He was talking.
Where'd you find it?
Well, it came across my TikTok feed, so I don't remember what podcast was interviewing him. It might have been Jake Paul or one of those idiots, but yeah, I don't know. I just think it's interesting, right? And I think also we've seen this throughout history with a lot of famous or successful and wealthy people, right? I think sometimes they do these events that shock their system, right? In the 70s and 80s and 90s, ayahuasca trips to Brazil became extremely popular with the wealthy businessmen on Wall Street because they needed a way to shock their system, get back to who they are, rough it for a bit, and have a emotional experience. And obviously this is different, but I think wealthy people, just as much as average everyday people, are looking for ways to step outside their comfort zone. And when you have everything and you have all these experiences, you need to find new ways to step outside your comfort zone. So I'll give another example of someone that we both love, Parker, Jesse Itzler, right? Partial owner of the Hawks, has more money than he needs, billionaire.
He's also married to Sarah Blakely.
Yeah, but they both in their right ways made money themselves. They even if they didn't get married, they would have been set for life. But now they're really set for life, right? They're both fantastic people. We love them as entrepreneurs and human beings. Jesse always is finding ways to step outside his comfort zone. He was just trying to do an ultra Ironman of swimming, running, and biking.
He didn't try. He finished.
Well, I think they actually had to cancel the swim, so I don't know if they're counting it officially because it was too rough of waters.
The swim?
Yeah, like midway through, they had to pull him out. Yeah, it got really choppy. So Jesse, we're not discounting what you did, but
224 miles or something like that, and then 52 and a half running miles.
Yeah,
and then it was supposed to be a 6-mile swim.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow. Yeah, he's nuts. He's next level.
He's next level.
Crazy. And he's 50 years old.
Yeah. And you're finding, again, more and more, especially through social media and exposure, these wealthy, successful, famous people are trying to find ways to push themselves outside their comfort zone. And whether that's financially, physically, spiritually, emotionally, a combination of all of them, right? I think Jesse does a lot of them. They're working on it, right? From your diet, whatever it is. And so I don't want people to think that, getting pushed outside your comfort zone is just a thing for average people to try to get better. It's honestly a way to make us all happier. If we get content and comfortable in our everyday lives, sometimes it kind of sucks. You need to mix things up. That's what makes life fun. That's what makes life worth living, doing different things.
As the book I just read says, feel the fear and do it anyway. Right?
Yeah,
totally.
Absolutely.
Actually, here, Parker's perspective, because I know we got a few more seconds left, but I tweeted something yesterday. I was on my run. I was just like, you know what? I want to tweet this. I think everyone has mental fortitude. Every single person in the entire world has mental fortitude. Some people just choose to exercise it more often than others. That's what it all comes down to. We're talking about Jesse Itzler. We're talking about Dan Bazilian, Sarah Blakely, whomever, the successful people, we look at them. These people have exercised some capacity of mental fortitude in their life to get outside the comfort zone. And as young adults, I think you have a choice. You have mental fortitude. I know you do. And if you need me to convince you that you do, let's have a conversation, because I can sure convince you that. But it's how are you going to exercise it? When are you going to exercise it? And how is that going to lead you to get over your fears and get out of the comfort zone? Because Sam and I both know that success and elevation happens outside of the comfort zone, not within it.
And until next week, Elevation Nation, peace.